Hello and a huge warm welcome. My name is Lorraine Davies and I am the host of this summit, The Expansion, Unleash Your Infinite Potential and Reclaim the Power Within. I'm so delighted to be joined by Abigail Rebecca today. I'm just going to give you a little bit of insight into who she is before we get into the juicy conversation that is the topic of today's chat. So Abigail Rebecca, the visibility goddess, is a human design visibility mentor, international speaker and thought leader in the Aquarian Age femme leadership. With a diverse background as a corporate leader, trained personal stylist, EFT practitioner, and Kundalini Yoga junkie, so many skills there. Abigail brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to her work. Her story is a testament to resilience, transformation, and the power of authenticity. And she's passionate about helping others achieve their full potential, which is exactly why she's here today for the Expansion Summit. So a huge warm welcome, Abigail. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Thank you for inviting me. I'm so happy to do this and share whatever needs to be shared today.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So I always like to start when we have these kind of conversations with a little bit of an understanding about your own expansion, because I truly believe there's so much magic in that storytelling piece. So can you give us a little bit of your background and how it is that you've expanded into who you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my story starts as a child, which I think so many people's stories start with, right? So I was raised in a religious cult that disempowered women. I didn't have any choices. I was brought up to be subservient and to be obedient to men. I was brought up to be a wife and a mother, and that's it. And wives and mothers are incredible, but it's an incredible experience when you have a choice. I didn't have a choice. My father even chose my GCSE subjects for me. So, my school subjects. So I was raised in a very disempowering way and I didn't really have a voice. And when I was 16, I had to make a decision. I had to decide whether I wanted to continue in that life or I wanted to leave and choose freedom. And I chose freedom. I left home when I was 16. And in that whole process, I had to leave the majority of my friends and family behind. So at the time, it didn't actually seem like a brave decision. It was very empowering and very exciting, and that I was choosing freedom. But looking back now, I'm like, oh my goodness, I was a baby. Like I was 16 years old and I made that decision. So anyway, I kind of had an amazing life. I worked overseas for a good 10, 15 years. I traveled around. I then came back to the UK and built a very successful corporate career. And then about 7 years ago, I decided that I was going to leave. There was various things that had come up for me. I developed a very bad heart condition. I was very burnt out. I was hustling. I was really, really trying to prove myself in a leadership position within corporate. So I left and I set up my own business, and I was just a complete flop. I mean, the first 2 years of my business, I just didn't have any clients. It was a very scary time for me. I was really not showing up and being visible. I was being visible. I was hosting summits, but I wasn't being visible. I wasn't playing the bigger game. I was still playing small. I was comparing myself to other women and beating myself up because I wasn't like them. I was so scared of being rejected, being ridiculed. I had massive imposter syndrome. And I actually realized that a lot of my childhood trauma was showing up in my business. I always say that our business is the best personal development program you can invest in because it just brings out everything, right? So I started on a beautiful journey and discovered incredible modalities to help me. One of which is Kundalini Yoga that you've mentioned. I got introduced to EFT tapping, which really helped me to kind of break through a lot of the limiting beliefs and fear that I had, real deep fear and trauma about being visible. And then I discovered human design. And I have to say that was the breakthrough point for me, because finding out that I'm a particular aura and a particular energy type within human design, and there is a strategy attached to that, and a strategy that I could apply to my whole business, building relationships, just being me and being visible was life transformational for me. So that's when I really started to be very serious about it and started to introduce it to my business. And that's when I really started to get results. But not only get results, like really come back to myself, deeply appreciate myself, accept myself, and love myself. And I feel like when you're in that state of, when you're so confident in your own skin and you really love yourself and you embrace everything about yourself, you embrace all the quirks, all the things that you're afraid of being, and you really step into that, it's almost like you can become unstoppable. You know, you can go out there and you can create whatever you want, but ultimately you create true happiness. And I think that that's what we're all seeking.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, there's so many points there that kind of just beautifully kind of sum up together, is that it's this coming back to self in order to, like, you know, so often we think about all the things we want to create out there in our world. You know, we want to create a thriving business, successful business, we want to experience joy and all of these things, but we can't change the outer world without truly being in yourself and understanding yourself. And I think definitely, you know, my experience of human design is still, you know, I'm still on that, like they call it the experiment, don't they, or the journey. Like I'm still on this beautiful journey and I'm still very new to the process, but I felt like it was a coming home to myself, like, oh wow, that's why I am the way that's why I am the way I am. That's why I feel driven to do these types of things. That's why I respond in the way I do. And I think when you have that kind of that awareness piece and you come back to who you truly are, that's when everything is just truly magical. So I would love to know, because obviously there's a lot of incredible, so much when it comes to human design, like we could like have a whole summit just on human design, but I would love to understand, you know, from the perspective of that, you know, the people being called into the summit are heart-led leaders. You know, they are the visionaries, they are very conscious women, and they know that they're here for more, to create more impact. So I know that that's a driving force for everyone watching this. So from this perspective of, you know, embodying your human design and using that to step out into the world as your most authentic and truest and boldest self, like where do you even start with that
In
piece?
terms of human design?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
go on,
yeah.
sorry.
No, I was going to say absolutely. So yeah, it's kind of understanding, because you know the people watching this might understand that, you know, they're a certain energy type or that they're a certain authority or kind of that, but I suppose it's taking what could be the knowledge stuff, the stuff that we know, and then how do we then embody that in our visibility piece?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the first starting point is to find out about your human design, and you can go onto any human design website and download it for free. And that's what's so amazing, right? This is accessible, truly accessible. You can go over to my website, abigailrebecca.com, and download your chart for free. Where I would say the main points, because you can really go down the rabbit hole of human design. We've had this conversation before, right?
Yeah.
You really go there. And it is an experimentation. You know, I always say, don't believe a word that I say. Just take the information, see what resonates with you, and then go and practice it. And just practice it, experiment with it, and just see what shows up in your life. Because believe you me, things will start to show up in a completely different way. Like things that you never even dreamt impossible. Like it's just, I can't even, sometimes it's very difficult for me to give words to what happens when you shift yourself in that way.
Yeah.
We have to experience it. And I think that's what's so amazing about being in the Aquarian age. It's all about experiencing. You know, it's like experimenting, experiencing. But I would say definitely, first of all, the most important thing is to look at your strategy, because each human design type has a strategy, and it kind of gives you an indication, and it shows you where you're at high vibration and where you're at low vibration. So, for example, the majority of the population are either generators or manifesting generators. Two very specifically different types, actually, but when we're looking at the strategy at this higher level, the strategy is the same. So the strategy is to wait to respond, and we're so hustled. We're so conditioned to initiate, to go out there and hustle and like make things happen. But actually for a manifesting generator and a generator, the strategy is to respond. Now, when a generator or manifesting generator is responding to something, instead of actually trying to initiate and push things forward and self-initiate, when they are responding to that, they feel very satisfied. And it's a very good indication. It's like, feel into your body. How do I feel at the moment? Do I feel satisfied? Okay, I know that I'm aligned, and I know that things are going to be flowing into me beautifully, and I'm actually manifesting, and, you know, I'm on the right path. But then there's a frustration that manifestors and that generators and manifesting generators feel when they are self-initiating and they're not waiting to respond. And that frustration is very clear and very evident. I live with a generator. I experience this frustration a lot. So actually then it's like, okay, check in with your feet. How do you feel? Check in with your feelings. Do I feel frustrated? Yes. It's very good to ask yourself yes, no questions, by the way, if you're a generator, manifesting generator. And also, if you are coaching one of those human design types, ask them yes, no questions. If you ask them open questions, there's a confusion. They are designed to respond yes or no. So am I frustrated? Yes. Okay. Am I following my human design? No. Okay, right. What do I need to do to shift and align? So that's a really good starting point. And what that will actually do is that will also help you be able to align to your visibility strategy. Because if you're not getting the traction and you're not getting the responses and you're not getting the engagement and you're feeling frustrated about it, well, hello, that's an amazing, straight away, you know that you're not aligned to your human design, so that you can go and shift, and then you'll feel this satisfaction because you are getting that traction and that recognition and that engagement.
I love that. I love that. It's there's that piece there, which is, you know, the symptoms. Your feelings are always the feedback. I always talk about this. Your feelings are always providing feedback. And actually, when it comes to a human design, if you know what energy type you are, and you can tune into yourself and recognize that, oh, I'm frustrated. If, you know, as you said, if you're a generator or manifest generator, you know immediately, cool, I'm out of alignment. Okay, something here is not quite right. And then you have the choice, as always, you know, it starts with self-awareness, then you have the choice to shift something. That's really, really powerful. I love that we've got this symptom to be able to recognize. So in terms of this, you know, obviously you are the visibility goddess, and you talk about, you know, there's going to be different strategies in terms of how you're showing up in the world, depending, you know, I know there's a lot more depth to it, and there's a lot of nuances, you know, there's so many pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. But we've talked about the kind of you know, that you shouldn't be necessarily initiating. So what actually does it mean to respond when it comes to things like being more visible in the world and living in alignment with who you are?
Well, the strategy to respond is specifically for generators and manifesting generators. The other types have different strategies, but I think this probably will be the most applicable to your audience, because it's like the majority of your audience will be by default generators. So responding, I always like to describe it as, imagine that you're in a dance with the universe. So if you think about dancing, like dancing with a partner, traditionally, the man will lead and the woman will follow. Mm-hmm. So I want you to imagine that the universe is the man and you are the female, you're the woman, and you're in this beautiful dance with the universe. So the universe is just leading you around the dance floor and you're responding. So you don't need to actually really do anything in terms of initiation. What you need to do is set an intention, or you have an idea. So for example, I don't know, it's an example, like if you wanted to like launch a retreat, for an example, and you wanted to be able to promote that retreat and you wanted to invite people into the retreat, well, the way that we've been conditioned is, I'm going to host a retreat, right? Okay, what do I need to do? Right, I'm going to go and put things out, and, you know, I'm going to initiate and I'm going to approach people and, you know, like go out there and make things happen. We're so conditioned to do that. Actually, as if if you are a generator and a manifesting generator, your role within that is just to be like, right, okay, I'm going to host a retreat and I want to be very visible about it. I want to promote it, and I'm just going to wait. You just wait. And then you wait for the opportunities to come in and the signs to come in that you can respond to. Generators and manifesting generators have this beautiful magnetic aura. You are designed to attract things into you naturally. So you don't need to worry. You know, people always say to me, well, what do I do while I'm waiting?
I'm about to say that.
It's like you're so, and we are taught this actually very much so in the, you know, online world and marketing. It's like you need to reach out in the DMs and you need to initiate and you need to do the cold calling. Well, no, there's only 9% of the population that are actually designed to do that, and they're manifestors. So you just wait, and you wait for the signs and the opportunities to come. So it might be that you're having a conversation with someone and someone says, have you ever thought about putting on a retreat? Or it might be that you are scrolling through Facebook and somebody says, oh, I'd really love to go and do a retreat. Or like there are signs that are going to be coming through. You might read something in a book. You might receive an email. You might actually receive an invitation. You can also kind of create the opportunities for the response as well. Right. So you could like go out and ask questions and just invite in a conversation. Like, you know, if you were to go to a retreat anywhere in the world, where would you like to go to? So you're not actually initiating, you're not going out and going, hey, do you want to come to my retreat? What you're doing is you're kind of like creating these opportunities for people to come in that you can respond to. And then you can act. And that's where the difference between the generators and the manifesting generators come in, because you would be reacting to that in different ways. But literally what you're doing while you're waiting is you're going out there and you're doing the things that light you up, because generators and manifesting generators are designed to work. You're designed to work. You're designed to really create a beautiful satisfaction when you're working, but also to, it's like you need to be lit up by your work. And then when you're lit up with your work, people will naturally be attracted into you. So you just go out and you do things that you really love doing while you're waiting, and you're not going to have to wait for so long. And of course, that's only the strategy for generator, manifesting generator, manifestors, projectors, reflectors. We all have different strategies.
Absolutely. And I think what's, you know, if anybody's watching this who is new to this to human design, essentially, that particularly if you're a generator or a manifesting generator and you're like, I just have to respond, it's again, it's understanding the how you may have been conditioned to the hustle mentality. I know it's something you talk about, Abigail. I've seen it on your social media, that's not how you're designed to operate. And even though you know, I think there's sometimes an assumption, which is so wrong, that, oh, as a generator I can just keep going all the time, and it's that what you've just kind of hit the nail on the head there with, if you're lit up, if you're doing the things that light you up and that inspire you and that excite you, then you've got this kind of beautiful sacral energy. But I think so in terms of actually, you know, we talked about the generators.
Oh, that's the new one. That's the new one. Right.
It's the new one in town. So in terms of the generators and the manifesting generators, we talked about kind of this response. So, you know, there's a certain amount then essentially of deconditioning and of like relearning in this kind of approach when as part of this human design experiment, especially if you've been conditioned or you've learned to behave in a certain way. So when somebody comes to work with you and they're like, I want to be more visible, you know, I want to do it in alignment with my human design, and they start to kind of learn about what it is and how to show up authentically in alignment with their design, how do we go about kind of stripping away these these ways of being that are not aligned with our unique design?
Yeah. I mean, these things didn't happen overnight, right? It's years and years of conditioning. We're highly conditioned from childhood to be a certain way. And also our cultures and our society, and, you know, potentially if you've been in a corporate environment, dictates what a leader should be and what a leader should look like. And actually what the whole of the world has dictated what a leader should look like doesn't actually exist, because it's like a hybrid of a manifestor who is designed to initiate and a generator or a manifesting generator that has that sacral energy. And that person doesn't exist. The closest to that is a manifesting generator. And that's why money gens are so good at multitasking, and kind of like there is a certain amount of initiation. It's still not self-initiation, but you can initiate very easily and go and manage your multi projects, and incredible human design type. So yes, the first step is that this is the Illuminate method that I'm going to share with you. This is the method that I've created to be able to help entrepreneurial women to be more visible and confidently expressed, but in their own authentic way. So first of all, we look at human design. We look at your human design, and there's so many layers to your human design. You've got your profile, which is kind of like the framework of your life. You've got your incarnation cross, which is your deeper purpose. You've got your environments, which are the environments that light us up, where we can manifest more easily and we can find connections and opportunities and make us feel good. But we've also got our centers, and our centers are either defined or undefined. And we have 9 centers within human design. Now, very much so, we would look at, in terms of like the conditioning and the blocks, we would really start to look at the undefined or open centers, because actually that's where we hold our conditioning, and that's where we hold our trauma, and that's where our wounds are. Because when we're children, we're kind of raised by our parents. I think parents naturally want us to be like them. Like, oh, he's just like me, she's just like me, they're just like me. And actually, we're not like our parents. We're very different to our parents. And this is why human design is incredible for parenting. This is why it was really birthed into the world, to help parents with their children, because their children are like living, breathing, like completely different to their parents. And it's like, how do you raise them to be independent and to really tap into that? So there's the conditioning very much comes from our parents, like thinking that we are a certain person, but actually we're not. So we'd look to see what was being held in the open or undefined centers. EFT, I've already mentioned, is an incredible modality for really overcoming trauma, overcoming limiting beliefs, to really stop the monkey brain chatter. It's great for imposter syndrome. And then I think just sharing, just like being able to be authentic, to be open, and to learning a way to stop the comparison game. One of the reasons why I introduced human design into visibility is that it's not a one-size-fits-all strategy. It's not a cookie cutter strategy. I was taught, when I first left corporate and I invested thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds in coaching programs, traveling around, being in communities, being in masterminds. And, I work with incredible coaches with the very best intention, that were teaching me how to build my business and how to be visible using the techniques that they'd used. So they'd built these multiple 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, but I'm not designed like that. So I couldn't do it. And there were some people within the community that were thriving, and I was like over here, like just feeling like, what am I doing wrong? Comparing myself to everyone else. So I think just giving yourself the permission to actually be. I've been on calls with women where I've shared their human design and they've just burst out crying and said, I thought that something was wrong with me, and actually now I know it's my human design. I've got so many testimonials from women that I've worked with that have said the same thing. So to really own that and to be like, actually, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfect just the way that I am. But what I need to do is I need to accept it, so that I can step into my own authenticity, my own sovereignty, and then I can share myself online in an authentic way, in my way. And that's what's going to attract my tribe. And that's what's going to help me resonate with my ideal clients. And that's what's going to create the freedom and the success and the wealth.
Oh God, I love it. I love it so much, because it's so much as well as when we start to kind of lean into this work, to this experiment, and we start to play in our human design, you start to recognize how much of this is actually intuitive, right? You go, oh, okay, if I just listen to my intuition. And this is where, when you mentioned there about listening to other coaches and their strategies, and this is how they did it, and this is how you should do it, and why it's so fundamental to have this deeper understanding of self. Because I could teach a strategy to hundreds of people. My background originally was in network marketing. It's like, this is the system, this is the strategy, go out and do that strategy. And with working with hundreds of people, I would see different results, because ultimately, yes, there's the the self-worth piece, and the self-belief and self-confidence, but that comes from knowing who you are and operating from that space. And if you're trying to just go out there in the world and follow a strategy that is not true to you, that is not aligned with how you're designed to operate in the world, then you're always going to feel unsatisfied. And then you're right, that's when things like the imposter syndrome, the comparisonitis, like all of those things are going to thrive. So what I love is this beautiful, and you use the word acceptance, this acceptance of this is who I am, and being able to accept, I talk about IFS, so internal family systems, and being able to the good parts and the bad parts. Like, there are no bad parts. Everything that you are and every way that you operate in the world is exactly who you are meant to be. You are incarnated at this time in this, because that is what you are here to do and who you are here to be. And actually, when you understand your human design and you're operating in alignment with it, that's when you can truly have the impact that you're here to create. Oh, it gets me so excited. It gets me so excited.
And people feel it, Lorraine. Like, people feel it. Like, we're very, we're very tuned in beings, right? So you could go out there and pretend and do the strategies, but actually people can feel that. They can feel that there's a disconnection. And what I really love about human design is that when you are aligned to your design, you are vibrating at a higher level. So there's obviously high vibration, low vibration. So we've already spoken about generators, manifesting generators. Low vibration is frustration. Who wants to hang out with someone that's frustrated? Who wants to pay someone that's frustrated? No. Higher vibration, satisfaction. Oh, I'm satisfied. I'm so satisfied. Come and work with me. It's like real queen energy, like, come and get me, right? So you're vibrating at that higher level. Everything that you want to bring in that is vibrating at that higher level will come into you. The opportunities, the business connections, the clients, the money, the media and speaking opportunities, the investors, like whatever it is that you want to bring into your life, you want to make sure that you are vibrating at that higher level. Now, life is not a Disney movie, and it's not perfection. We're not waking up in the morning and, and the birds come in. But if you have a manual for life, which basically what human design is, that really helps you to be able to navigate, obviously, the peaks and troughs, but also to be overcome any trauma, any limiting beliefs, any blocks that you have about yourself and this world and your abilities, then that is a great thing to have, right? Because you can just refer to that, and that's the experimentation.
Absolutely. I love that. I can literally visualize when you said life's not a Disney movie. I was like, absolutely hilarious, because you're right. But it's nice to be able to know that we've got essentially like this book, this manual that we can refer to, and we can go, okay, cool, right, this is why I'm feeling this way, or this is normal to feel like this way. When we talk about things like the authorities in human design, I was like, oh, now I understand why I feel this way, and I have these big waves. That made it suddenly like so many pieces of the jigsaw puzzle came together, and you can refer to this manual and go, okay, cool, this is how I'm designed to be. Let's live in alignment with this. So the first step, as you said, go and find out your human design. If you don't know already, go get your chart, go find out about your energy type, go find out about your strategy. And as you then kind of obviously you want to learn more about this, you've shared your beautiful method here, but how else can people come and find out more about this in your world? What are the options to come and play with you?
Well, I mean, first of all, I believe that this work should be accessible to everyone. So, and it depends how, how you want to play. Let's put it that way. So if you come over to my website, abigailrebecca.com, there's loads of content on there. There's lots of free videos. I've got a YouTube channel. I do lots of free content. I do lots of free workshops. So I would recommend that you join my email list and you see what's coming up. And I'm all about community as well. So I love to connect women together. And I also feel that with human design, it's really cool to bring people together so they learn. So there's lots of events as well to connect women together. I do have a line 4 in human design, which is all about community.
Yeah, I can feel it.
As I mentioned before, you can download your human design chart for free on my website. If you want to dive deeper into that, I have you can order a magnetic aura blueprint book, which is basically it's like a 40-page book that tells you all about your human design, everything in there, but specifically how to apply it to your visibility strategy. So if you are an entrepreneurial woman who is serious about being more visible within your business and you want to expand your business, but you're feeling stuck, this is a great opportunity. It's like a workbook. It is literally like a mini course, but it's in a book. And you have immediate access to this. I'm a projector in human design. I'm not designed to work hard. I love to automate things. It's taken a long time to get there, but we have fully automated it now. And I am so excited about it. So literally you put in your details and you get the book immediately. I'm so excited about it.
I'm excited. I'm like, all right, where do I get my copy? I'm like, there's things here to learn.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I'm very excited about that. And then obviously if you want to dive deeper, I am still doing strategy sessions, not so much now, but though you will be able to still find some time in my diary. So I do human design strategy sessions where we specifically look at your goals, where you want to go, how you can apply your human design to that. And of course I do one-on-one coaching as well.
Amazing. Oh, okay, so thank you so much for sharing all that with me. And I as I said before, we kind of actually press the record button. I always like to check in at the end when we're coming to the end of an interview, just to see if there's anything else that you're being called to share with the audience, because particularly as you mentioned, you're a projector. So I like to think of it like it's like the all-seeing eye. You see it all. You're just waiting for the invitation for somebody to say to you, can you please share with me what you can see? So I would like to offer you that invitation now. Is there anything else you'd like to leave us with as a last message for everyone who's watching us today?
I think what's coming up above my head very loud and clear, like big light bulbs, is trust. Really trusting yourself. We are moving into this beautiful age now, the age of Aquarius. We've left the Piscean age, the hierarchical, patriarchal structures, where all the knowledge was kept at the top and the power was kept at the top. And now we have this beautiful way and facilitation in terms of our own knowledge and self-learning, and really being able to hold the keys, but really trusting that you have that inside of yourself. So I always like to say you are your own guru. The age of the guru is dead. You are your own guru. So really trust your inner self. And you've already alluded to this actually, Lorraine. What human design does is it teaches us to drop out of our heads and into our bodies, because our bodies hold the wisdom. So trust your intuition, trust your human design, trust the decision-making process that you are taught about when you learn about your human design, and really feel into that and make your decisions from your body, not your head. And when you follow your own path in that way, believe you me, it's magical and it's very fulfilling. And you can create whatever you want to create in this world.
That's beautiful. I actually get quite emotional, because I think trust is such a core. It is the core message. So thank you so much for leaving us with that. You are your own guru. So that's a breathe in moment for everyone to breathe into. You are your own guru. You've got this. Thank you so much, Abigail. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed chatting with you today. And thank you so much to everybody who's watching. I look forward to speaking to you all again really, really soon. Bye-bye for now.